I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me, and what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be f***ing sour, take a cold shower. Scream until you're louder, work until you're prouder. And f*** all the doubters, they're just your downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I'm just telling you to fight for your dreams, but it's not what it seems. Man, it's hard to be seen when everybody wants to be king. Yeah, they all wanna ring, yeah, we all wanna be free. So show me what you got, what you bring, how you fight in the ring, how you take a fucking swing. Do you got heart, are you mean? Got some scars, got some needs, are you willing to go bleed? I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Buffalo Bills franchise here on Madden 23 with the Bills Mafia Sit-down, and this is the draft special, as we're going to take a quick look here at some of the potential drafted players that we could be picking up here in this upcoming draft. Now this is the second draft that we've had in this series as we're getting ready to go to season number 3. Now, of course, drafts not, when you draft, it's never guaranteed because weird things can happen. Players could fall that had high potential, as opposed to players that had low potential, maybe surprised you enough and had a better showing at their combine or pro day. So you see, Rashawn Rush, our quarterback from our Highland Scotty series, of course, projected out to be the #1 pick, or at least in the top 5 here. And we did not scout him at all, but there's some of his core attributes here. And he, for the most part here, a couple of buddies of mine we got together, made this draft class, and we try to do some due diligence with him. Of course, looking like he could be going to the Jets. So we could be seeing him twice a year here in this series. But we try to make the players from the Highland Scotty series and some of the other players, not just from the Highland Scotty's team, but some of the players that we either faced against, or there's some high profile names that were in a particular year that these guys were on the series. We try to make them as close as their counterparts in the series there on NCAA Football 14. But we see now we're looking for some right tackles and basically tackles, guards for our offensive line. That's kind of what I want to kind of work on this season. And I talked about a little bit about it last in the previous video here, in the off-season video. And Wilder is one of those players that I really would love to go after and try to go after. But the thing is, we would have to go and trade up big time. And I'm not willing to do that this time around. As you remember, last season we did pretty well. We got lucky. We were able to draft with some players there with Chicago, and I forgot who the other team was that we could draft up with. But as you take a look here, the 49ers have that draft pick here, and we're going to look and see possibly what they would be offering or what we have to offer to them. And well, no offers being taken. So no offers being taken this time. That's just for, at least for this time. But things could definitely change as we go into the draft. Seth Thomas is the next player that I have my eye on here. He has some pretty good pretty key ratings here that I could, deal with. They're pretty, reasonable. And of course, there you see some of the top fits: Jets, Rams, and of course with us. I like some of the things that we've seen here. I don't really get into. I know a lot of people get into the combine numbers and the pro day numbers. Yeah, some of those are, they're for this situation, his reps, I'm kind of interested in. But as for his core attributes here, he has some pretty good ones. I would say his stamina is probably the one I'm really kind of like, he's not a guy that can stay out there for too long. DF. But all the others, with the exception of some of the blocking there, he had a D there. I'm not for sure if he's definitely a guy that we could possibly go after, but I'm pretty sure he'll be already snagged up by and of course the team that we're could have to trade for him for that pick that he could land in will be the Rams, and of course the Rams right now have no interest. Brown's another one as well. He is from Washington State, and there you see his numbers as well. And I'm really hoping that he's another one that I have an eye on. I've been kind of looking at his, seeing how he is scouting wise, and he's a first round guy. He's I believe a mid first round. He had a better pro day with his reps, and looks like vertical jump as well. And let's see, shuttle. He looked like he had a better shuttle time on his pro day, so not too bad there. But some pretty decent numbers there. BC, pass blocking, run blocking, CD. The Raiders would be the projective pick, and of course we were looking at possibly trading with them and see what they would offer. And here's some of the things they would that we would have to offer to them. Excuse me. Hunter Cannon. When I seen that, I'm like, hell no, that ain't happening. And of course, there you see. Excuse me. The others would be draft pick for this year, which would be our first round pick, and then first round pick for next year, which would be the 32nd pick possibly, or whatever, and then a future we would give them like our third round pick. I think we have a total of 3 actually third round picks, I believe. One from Chicago, and I can't remember who the other one was. If I'm correct, I'm not sure if I'm correct. I don't know if we have 2 or 3 in the third round, but that's a possibility. That one I'm kind of willing to go with. Dylan Carr is another player that I would love to get to. Look at his key attributes here as another right tackle. And I'm doing the same thing with the guards as well. I'm looking at some of the guards there. But the guard position is not necessarily the position of like absolute need. Right now I think it's more the tackles that I'm looking for. Even though we did have one of our guys retire. He was a guard. But I can easily take one. If we get lucky here and get a guy in the first round, then maybe a guy again maybe in the second round if we have I believe, like I said, we have a second round pick up a guy if we get lucky there, and go and get another tackle, and then transfer and kind of convert him to a guard later on. But there you see the other draft pick possibilities here, and this one I'm not, with the exception of maybe giving up Hunter Cannon or Elam there. That's another one I'm kind of looking at as well. This one looks more appetizing towards what I want to do, because early on in that third, or in that, I think we were 2 early third round picks, or something like that. One of those third round picks. I think this one is a third round pick. I think it's pretty early. Wouldn't mind doing so because some of the guys we're looking at third round are more towards the bottom half of the third round. So that one I may be willing to possibly consider doing there for the draft. Calvin Jacobs, the left tackle, as well as another player that we're looking at there. And of course, you see his numbers there. Late first round, early second round type of player. He's been scouted for the most part here for us, about 75%. And then you see some of his core attributes there. With the exception of some areas there in his game, we can look past for the time being. And of course, he would be a player that we would definitely be trying to help. And a lot of these players too. For the most part here, like we did last season. A project player probably wouldn't necessarily start right off the bat. Probably would come in a couple different play formations, probably special teams, like goal line stuff, just to kind of see what they can do in those type of situations. But other than that, he's a pretty decent player. And of course, we were also looking at some UDFAs. There are guys there. Greg Shields is one of those others that I would be considering possibly letting not necessarily if we can't draft him, then we'll definitely could sign him to a nice little deal, and then be part of our practice squad. If not part of the practice squad, part of the maybe part of the 54 man squad, and kind of just put him on a kind of a development type of deal, and get him developed and see what he can do there as a backup. And like I said, get him like we do with the defensive linemen. We kind of swap them out in certain formations and just see what they can do from in certain play formations. Not necessarily a lot of the play formations, but a couple of different formations, and then kind of swap them out when we want to have them come out there. And of course, I would never know when they were out there, but just getting get some experience underneath their belt and kind of get them ready. But there you see some pretty good, decent, again, some reasonable stuff there. Of course, with the run block finesse, not really worried about that. That can definitely change. Centers is another position here. Not of necessary need, but we're also looking at centers that we could possibly convert to guards and tackles. And Dane Jackson's one of those guys there from Kentucky. Look at those key ratings there, AA, BB. I like that, but he's projected out to be we got 100% of his scouting there, but he is projected a late third round, early fourth round guy, and that's what I'm talking about. We got two. I want to say we have three third round picks. Again, I could be wrong. But he is definitely a guy that I'm kind of hoping that we can get in that situation. Hopefully he does drop down there somewhere in that late third round with our regular pick in third round. And if he happens to be in there, we can hopefully go ahead and pick him up and get him as well. Run block finesse, not the greatest, but all the others I like. And they can, not to mention, this is a guy that can be a player that we can again, develop over time and get him ready for the future of this franchise. So yeah, I like his talent there. He's pretty much spot on talent. He was projected late third, early fourth, and that's what his talent is. At least that's what the scouts are telling us right now. Quentin Monk, right guard there. The Falcons, of course, looking at him, as well as the Tampa Bay and, of course, the Giants. And again, that guard position, like I said, not necessarily a player of need, like we need something, but something that I think we need to kind of address now and help, kind of plug a hole there for the time being. Like I said, some of them, I think, for the most part here, are just guys that we can just have there for a bit. And, and that's the thing with Madden. There's not really too many crazy, like, offensive linemen that are, star or superstar or even X Factor in the game, which is fine. But if they're reasonably nice, and we can develop them and make them pretty decent guys, I'm all for it. So Paul Slay, another right guard there from Florida State, and he's also being looked at by the same 3 teams as well. He's a UDFA, only 50% scouted. Like I said, when we were doing scoutings this year, we were looking at interior linemen, not necessarily exterior linemen. We're looking more interior, so your tackles, not necessarily your guards. You're looking at more like the tackles and the centers, and that's pretty much what we're looking at. Of course, like I said, these guys can be, that position is interchangeable. There is a slight difference between how they how they play, but for the most part here, they're kind of interchangeable. We can move guys around and test things out, and that's what preseason is all about. What guys work better here? One guy might work better. He plays guard now, but he might be a better tackler, better in the tackle position, and the guy from the tackle position might be a better guard. So, like I said, we'll kind of shift things around. Now, the other position of need is really in the secondary. Last year, that was one of the things I was so worried about there, because we lost a couple of good secondary players. But with the abundance of corners that we have right now, I'm kind of thinking that some of those corners might be playing a safety position. But if we can get this player right here, Xavier McKinley, he was on our board here early on. He was on the first 2 mock boards. I think he actually might have been on the first 3. And they were saying late second round, early third round. They were even saying that he's going to be one of our first picks in the draft. And he got some. He looks pretty good. He's 50% talent or scouted, but I think that one. I don't know. For a first round pick, especially and especially like I said, I'm really considering about trading that first round pick to go up. If McKinley's still there, that second or third, going that second, in the second round, going to the third round, I definitely would like to pick him up. I think he'd be a good fit there. But I think for right now, like a free safety, I think we're good. We got Bass, but having that McKinley there would be nice. Cedric there, he is another player that we're looking at as well in that right tackle position. And of course, like I said, we're looking at a lot of different tackles, left, right, and also we're looking at centers as possibility of guys playing that position as well. Like I said, I really want to just make sure Josh stays upright, and not to mention we run the ball so much. We need a good tackle to help us out in that position there. So, am I looking for the X factor of tackles? Not necessarily, but just a guy that can, especially a younger guy that can help us block and open up a gap for our halfbacks. We got both Cook and Moss back there in the backfield there, and we need them to just explode out of that backfield. Gilbert McGee, strong safety. He is another one. He's a late first round, early second round guy. I really think he's not going to be on board there. Like I said, especially that in my head, I think we won't be able to get him because I think that first round pick, if I can get that right tackle there, I think will be good. But McGee will definitely be off the board, I think, before that even happens. But if that does happen, if he is one of those guys there, then it becomes a little tougher between him or McKinley. And then, of course, you got CJ Pollard there. Another guy there. There's some quirks about him. There's some things I don't really care for, but there's the strong safeties here for right now. I think Pollard and McGee are probably the two I'm kind of looking at. Like I said, McKinley, he's late second round, early third round. Like I said, if he's on there, then we'll definitely get him. But like I said, these two, Pollard and McGee, they'll probably get picked up, snagged up real quick early on there. Like I said, they're late first round early second round. Nixon is another player that we're looking at in that safety position. And like I said, if we cannot find a safety right now, then like I said, we have some talented corners. I mean, we got a lot of corners right now. Definitely need some work, and we definitely can use those guys and convert them to strong safeties. I believe there's 2 of them actually have pretty good zone coverage that can help out, and of course we can focus on that, more of that throughout the season there, and see what they can do there. But like I said, the safety position is probably our second need right now. I put on on a list because that is something that last season I was really concerned about. I thought, like, man, we're gonna get beat bad because we don't have any safeties helping us out there. I mean, we got good corners, the man-to-man is fine, but man, if it gets to the point where we have to play zone and they want to throw deep on us, it's gonna be a long day. So I want to kind of get that more focused this time around here, and try to find somebody. Now, UDFAs, there's a whole bunch of other places we can plug holes in. One of them is the quarterback position here. I'm not looking for a replacement for Josh Allen, but I am looking for somebody that can play that backup role. So Pete there from Utah, and then Garbers from Kansas. If you guys remember for our High and Scotty series there, that kid got on my nerves those first 2 seasons. For the last 2 years there that he played, he challenged us a lot. I mean, a lot. So I decided to put him in the game here, and we decided, as me and my buddies decided, we're gonna have him have some pretty good traits there, but he would be a UDA. I know he's not necessarily. I think he's a normal dev, but I think with some work here with a certain team, I think he could probably be a superstar by the end of the season. So he has some pretty good attributes. This one I do know of because we were debating on how we're gonna get him set up in the game here. Another one, Javon Jones Sr. I don't know if you guys remember him. He was a player that played for Iowa, and he did a good job running on us there in that Highland Scotty series there. I think it was, it was the most recent season. I want to say it was season 4 or 5 when we played against Iowa. But there you see some of the top fits there. We're one of those top fits, and one of the things I am looking at is possibly originally the idea was we was going to get a halfback. I wasn't for sure if we was going to be able to re-sign Moss. I knew we still had Cook, but Moss was one of those guys there. But Javon Jones Sr., I think he is going to be a player that I would love to pick up. Now, I know I shouldn't get too excited because we have 3 halfbacks right now, but if we can get Jones here, he's a late second round, early third round. I could see him easily playing the fullback position. I would love to have him in there and have him run him, on third downs, and then just let him take the ball and just run up the gut and just explode. Originally I was going to do that with Hunter Cannon, but then I decided no. I was like, I gotta get Cannon. I gotta get him to get out there and stretch out and use his height and stuff like that, and for catches and stuff. That vertical threat, third down guy. So, Javon could be one of those guys that we can have as a halfback or fullback there. Crossan is another player there out there that had some pretty good, decent numbers there as a halfback, late second round, early third round. Again, probably not going to be on the board there when when it's our turn to pick. So he'll probably definitely be going early. But if he is out there, he's definitely possibly a good choice for us to get a hold of. Let's take a look here. Move on. Some more halfbacks as well. That was one of the things, like I said, we've been kind of looking at because originally when we were doing the scouting, the scouting was to look for some halfbacks here and see what we could find. And Lance Craig there, one of our he's a fit for us. Take a look at some of his attributes here. I can't remember LSU. Yeah, I don't think he was part of the Highland Scotty series there, but yeah, look at some of his numbers there. Looks like he had not so much a great in some areas there in his pro day. He had a better day, and not so much in others. But then look at some of his. I like it. He's kind of that average, above average type of player. So again, if he's there, we could make that decision if we're going to pick him up or not. Mincy, the defensive tackle. D-line is another position of not necessarily of stress, of need, but we are looking at because last season or this season we did not re-sign a player, but I think we got one off of free agency. D tackle, we were so successful in that, plugging up the holes, and I want to continue that. So I want to make sure we bring in a guy, a young player to help us out in that, because we did recently just re-sign Ed Oliver. We still have Robinson that's still there, and of course those two are going to be around for quite some time. So maybe D-line's not but we are looking for ends. So get a guy that's a DN or a D tackle, bring him in as a DN. That would be helpful for us because we did get rid of, or Ron Miller did retire. Mac Wilson, middle linebacker. We're starting looking at some of the linebacker positions there. Really, of course, that's not of need because I think we got Fleming there helping us out for the next couple of years. He had a great year this year. Unfortunately, did not get Rookie of the Year, but did play very well towards the end there of the season, especially in the playoffs. And of course, he has some pretty good plays when we were getting. I think it was the game against the Colts. He had a pretty good game. He had quite a few tackles, and I think this year he'll definitely step up in that position there, the middle linebacker for us. Jonathan Jones, another middle linebacker that we're looking at as well. Of course, looks like he is projected to be a UDFA. So again, he's around, but he has some pretty good ratings here, pretty reasonable, and a guy that we could probably work with and develop and probably be a part of our practice squad. That I think that would definitely be somebody that we can train, utilize, and get them ready, and give them some playing time here. I will, like I said, we got three. I believe we got 3 third-round picks, two second-round picks, I think 2 fourth-round picks, and I think 2 fifth-round picks, and I think a couple of 6th-round picks, because we got a lot of picks from Atlanta when we made trades to Chicago, and I can't remember who the other team was, but we had several picks. So by the time we get to the 4th round, and we've gotten, by then, I mean, if we got the guys, especially if we got the guys we want, I feel comfortable with, then we'll probably start trading those picks off, the latter 5th round, the latter 6th round picks, stuff like that. Especially if we get what we want when it comes to players. So there's, like I said, there's a lot of UDFAs. Some of them I don't see like this one here. I mean, John Michael Terry, great player. I don't think he'll get drafted. I think he'll be a player that we could probably try to pick up in free agency and see what we can do with him. Corner, we're also looking at corners as well. Like I said, when I was looking at some of this drafting and stuff like that, I really realized, I'm like, oh crap, we got enough corners. Lasted for quite some lifetimes. But Love is one of those players there for first round, late first round, early second round player that I believe will be kind of be nice for somebody out there. And then obviously, we have to start looking at some guys that are day 3. So you're looking at, your 4th round, your 5th round, your 6th round, even 7th round guys here. And, free safety Mike Koch is out there. And like I said, I might take some of those trades, some of those other picks that we have, the duplicates we have in 4th, 5th, and even the 6th round. We might trade those off to other teams, see what they need, and see what we can get back from them. But I think because I really feel like I don't really need to draft too many players this year, because we did such a great job last year, and then I think with free agency we did really well. I feel really confident, and there's some areas that we've got some depth in that we haven't even tapped yet, when their potential just yet. So I kind of want to work with those players that we have right now, and not try to bring anybody else to try to develop. But at the same time, you never know. But you never know what may happen over the course of a season. So we could have some injuries or some other issues going on. So like I said, I don't want to get too draft happy. I don't want to use every single pick that we have, because we don't necessarily have to. Like I said, I think we're sitting right now pretty good. We didn't have too many people that we re-signed. I think we honestly signed the amount that I wanted to re-sign. The rest of them we let go. And there's a couple of them that are still out there that didn't get signed to a team. We could possibly bring them back and get a better deal. And so I am looking at that as a possibility. But then you see here some of these players here that, like I said, there's some UDFAs that I would love to sign and get developed, because they're going to be really good. I think they're going to be fun players to develop. So I think it's going to be nice to get them, try to see how we can get them developed, and see what kind of talent they can bring to our team. But yeah, this draft, this is an important draft. The second draft of your franchise is important, because now you're starting to lay down the foundation for your team. You're starting to get the team to identify the coach and how he plays. There are going to be, like I said in the last video, there are going to be some slight changes to the playbook. We're going to be running more of I'm going to let the defensive coordinator and the offensive coordinator take more control of what type of plays we're going to run, as opposed to what Coach McDermott, obviously the head coach, is doing. So like I said, we'll run the playbooks that they have from the DC and the OC coming up this season, because I want to try something. I want to freshen things up. I want to get some different plays, and just revamp some of the majority of the playbook and the play style that we have with it. But at the same time, try to still have a decent play scheme, and keep with that play scheme that we have that fits with us the most. So but yeah, I know I didn't want to make this video too long, because I know the first draft session we did, I know it was over an hour, and I was just rambling. I didn't want to do that again, which I probably did. And we're looking at right now a little over half hour, so I'm gonna hurry up and stop here, because I can get into this so much. Draft is one of those things I like doing. I really enjoy doing, especially if this was the baseball draft. Oof, look out, people, if you watch the Red Sox video, because man, the Red Sox series there, I'm going to be having so much, but I gotta tell myself, like, okay, cut back some. But no, this is, like I said, season 3, we're gonna try to go for a repeat here. The goal was for this series to go to get 4 championships, and however long it takes us to do. And so far, we're on track. We're on track to go, 4 years, 4 championships. But it's going to take a lot here. This year, I feel like there's going to be there's a change in the air right now here in Buffalo. Is it a good thing? Probably not. But you know, I think it's gonna be a good challenge. I think this is gonna be a challenging year for us with some new faces, both on both sides of the ball here, and of course coordinators as well. But that's it. Coming up, there'll be the video for the draft. I also have actually two videos. There'll be the normal off-season video, draft video, but I also will have the first round, so you guys can watch that and see how the first round went. But you'll have an edited version of the draft coming up in the next video. That'll be off-season video number 2. But that's it for me, you guys. If you guys did enjoy, and of course, if you have any questions or any suggestions for draft picks going on into the next for the next video, let me know down below in the description, in the comment section. But most importantly, have a great day. Keep yourselves and the other healthy. Not to mention, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Discord, and all the other social media that we have down below. Click on those, and of course, don't forget to check us out on this second channel over on ESGNet Plus LP for more great content over there as well. But as always, guys, go Bills Mafia. Have a great day, and I will see you guys next time.
I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.